If you're someone who struggles with forgiveness, you're not alone. In fact, I think it's safe to say that every single one of us, at some point in our lives, has been faced with the challenge of forgiving someone who has hurt us deeply. Maybe it was a friend who let you down, a family member who said something that cut you to the core, or even a stranger whose actions left a lasting mark. The truth is, forgiveness is one of the hardest things we're ever asked to do. It's not just about saying the words, "I forgive you." It's about letting go of the pain, the anger, and the desire for revenge that can eat away at us from the inside. We live in a world where holding grudges is almost celebrated. Social media is full of stories about cutting toxic people out of your life, about standing up for yourself, about never letting anyone walk all over you. And while there's value in protecting your boundaries, there's also deeper, quieter strength in learning how to forgive. It's a strength that doesn't always get the spotlight, but it's the kind that can change your life from the inside out. Today, we're unpacking a big question. How do you handle people who've hurt you? It's a question that doesn't have a simple answer because every situation is different and every person's pain is unique. Maybe you're dealing with a fresh wound, something that happened just days or weeks ago. Or maybe you're carrying around hurt that's years old, the kind that settled deep into your bones and shaped the way you see the world. When someone hurts us, our first instinct is often to protect ourselves. We put up walls, we distance ourselves, we replay the moment over and over in our minds, trying to make sense of it. Sometimes we even start to believe that we deserved it, or that we're somehow to blame. But the truth is, being hurt by someone else is never your fault. It's a part of being human, and it's something that happens to all of us, no matter how careful we are. Stick with me. This one's close to my heart. Your greatest test will be how you handle people who mishandled you. It's easy to be kind to those who are kind to us. It's easy to love the people who love us back. But what about the ones who don't? What about the people who have lied to you, betrayed you, or left you when you needed them most? That's where the real test begins. I want you to think about a time when someone hurt you. Maybe it was something small, like a careless comment or a forgotten birthday. Or maybe it was something much bigger, a betrayal, a broken promise, a relationship that ended in heartbreak. Whatever it was, I want you to remember how it felt. The sting, the disappointment, the anger. Now imagine what it would look like to let go of that pain. Not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. That one stings, right? It's like a physical ache, a weight that settles in your chest and refuses to budge. Sometimes the pain is so sharp that it takes your breath away. Other times it's a dull ache that lingers for days, weeks, even years. And the hardest part is there's no quick fix, no magic words that can make it all go away. But here's what I've learned. The way you handle those who hurt you says more about you than it does about them. It's a reflection of your character, your values, and your willingness to grow. It's not about being a doormat or pretending that everything is okay. It's about choosing to rise above the hurt, to refuse to let someone else's actions define your story. I remember a time when a close friend betrayed my trust. My first instinct, anger. I wanted to just walk away. I wanted to cut them out of my life and never look back. I replayed the conversation in my head 100 times, thinking of all the things I should have said, all the ways I could have defended myself. But none of it made me feel any better. In fact, the more I held on to my anger, the worse I felt. It's funny how that works, isn't it? We think that holding on to our pain will somehow protect us, that it will keep us from getting hurt again. But all it really does is keep us stuck. It keeps us from moving forward, from healing, from finding the peace we so desperately crave. But deep down, I knew I had to decide. Would I stay bitter or try to forgive? It wasn't an easy choice. Forgiveness felt impossible, like I was letting my friend off the hook for what they'd done. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that forgiveness wasn't about them. It was about me. It was about freeing myself from the grip of anger and resentment. I started small. I wrote down everything I was feeling, every hurt, every disappointment. I let myself feel the pain instead of pushing it away. And slowly, I began to see that forgiveness wasn't a one-time event. It was a process, a journey that I had to choose every single day. A listener named Michelle recently shared her story with me. She forgave her mom after years of pain. Michelle's story is one of courage and vulnerability. For years, she carried the weight of her mother's words that had left scars on her heart. She tried to move on, to build a life for herself, but the pain always seemed to find its way back in. One day, Michelle decided she was tired of carrying that burden. She reached out to her mom, not to demand an apology, but to offer forgiveness. It wasn't easy. There were tears, there were difficult conversations, and there were moments when she wanted to give up. But through it all, Michelle held on to the belief that forgiveness was possible. She told me, "I realized that holding on to my anger was only hurting me. My mom had her own pain, her own struggles, and while that didn't excuse her actions, it helped me see her as a human being, not just the source of my hurt." She said, "Forgiveness wasn't for her, it was for me." Those words stuck with me. So often, we think that forgiveness is a gift we give to someone else, a way of letting them off the hook for what they've done. But the truth is, forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's a way of releasing the hold that pain has on our lives. When we forgive, we're not saying that what happened was okay. We're not pretending that the hurt didn't matter. We're simply choosing to let go, to stop carrying the weight of someone else's actions. And in doing so, we set ourselves free. That hit home. Sometimes letting go is about setting ourselves free. It's about choosing peace over pain, hope over bitterness. It's about recognizing that we can't control what others do, but we can control how we respond. I know it's not easy. There are days when the hurt feels fresh, when the memories come rushing back, and you wonder if you'll ever truly be free. But I promise you, every step you take toward forgiveness is a step toward healing. It's a step toward becoming the person you were meant to be, someone who is strong, compassionate, and unburdened by the past. And you know, Jesus said, "Love your enemies, do good to those who hate you." Those words are radical even today. They go against everything our instincts tell us. When someone hurts us, our first reaction is to protect ourselves, to fight back, to make sure it never happens again. But what if, instead, we chose to respond with love? What if we chose to see the humanity in the people who hurt us, to recognize that they too are carrying their own pain? It doesn't mean you have to let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you have to stay in toxic relationships or ignore your own needs. But it does mean choosing compassion over revenge, understanding over judgment, and love over hate. That's tough. but it's also the path to real peace. When you choose forgiveness, you're choosing to let go of the things that weigh you down. You're choosing to make room for joy, for hope, for new beginnings. You're choosing to believe that your story isn't defined by your pain, but by your ability to rise above it. I've seen it happen time and time again. People who have every reason to be bitter, to hold on to their anger, choosing instead to forgive, and in doing so, they find a freedom they never thought possible. They find a peace that passes understanding, a sense of wholeness that can't be shaken by the actions of others. So here's my challenge. Think of one person who hurt you. Maybe it's someone from your past, or maybe it's someone you see every day. Take a moment to really think about them. Picture their face, remember the hurt, and then, instead of holding on to that pain, I want you to pray for them. Pray for their healing, for their happiness, for their peace. It might feel strange at first. It might even feel impossible. But I promise you, there is power in prayer. There is power in choosing to let go, even when it feels like the hardest thing in the world. Ask God for the strength to let go. Ask for the courage to forgive, even when it feels impossible. Ask for the grace to see the person who hurt you not just as the source of your pain, but as someone who is also in need of love and healing. And as you pray, notice what happens in your own heart. Notice the way the weight begins to lift, the way your breath comes a little easier, the way hope starts to creep back in. Forgiveness is a journey, and it's one that you don't have to walk alone. And hey, tell me how it goes. I'd love to